What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's stream, I'm going to be giving Tourist Bus Simulator for the PS5 another go. It's been a little while since I've actually played this game, but I just wanted to dive in and see whether I could progress any further, whether any of the existing bugs which I've experienced over the past few months have changed in any way, or whether I can just progress normally through a save. Now, I've managed to complete the tutorial. My previous save, I made it in the hopes of bypassing a bug which was preventing me from collecting my bus from the depot, all that kind of stuff. So fingers crossed that now I've kind of changed it back again, started afresh, that things get a little bit more stable. You know, now I know that's a bit wishful thinking, and I mean, I'm all for it at the end of the day, but I thought I'd just give this game another chance, to be honest. So like I say, without further ado, let's just get stuck into it, shall we? So straight away, I've noticed that if you start the game up and try and speed run past all these prompt messages, you know, speeding up the calendar or anything like that, or doing it in an untimely manner, all that's going to do is cause problems if you try to beat the game or rush the game past like it's sort of like scheduled time, if that makes any sense, you know. So let the messages load, read through it, wait a couple of seconds, wait for things to load in, and it should be okay for you. I've also noticed as well, don't skip time using your phone. That is the worst thing to do. Don't do anything related to buses, anything like that, through your phone. Always do it from the office. Now, I've noticed that if you do it that way, it's less likely to mess up on you. Now, it's not a guarantee, but from what I've seen and what I've experienced, it's definitely made a difference. When I'm hiring my buses, you know, it's all working well, everything's loading in, so fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly and we get, you know, we have some fun with it, really. That's the whole plan, to be completely honest. But how's it going, assistants, mate? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the stream, hope you're doing well. But this, so I've got a current order there, which is fantastic. And I'm going to complete this route. Now, what I've noticed, especially with the smaller buses, the bigger buses that kind of have like two doors, the passengers seem to work much better than what they do using something like the BB40 or the other bus. I can't actually remember what the other bus is called, the W906. Those two buses, they seem to have a really bad problem with the passengers for some strange reason, and I think that's just simply down to the slight mess up that they had at the beginning of the game, where we weren't supposed to get that DLC for free. So I think there's a slight issue in regards to that. But anyway, so let's select a route, shall we? So we've got that one, and we've got that one. Amazing stuff. Right, so we are there. We shall skip ahead of time. Amazing. Right, let's hop into the bus. See if we get all of our routes displayed, the GPS, everything like that. Hopefully it all works. Yep, the GPS has come up. So a little bit of advice just for the current state of the game, yeah. So when you assign a driver to the bus, don't mess around with it. Don't fiddle about with it. Just leave it there. Don't assign a new driver. Don't take your bus off for repair. Don't do anything. Just leave it the way it is. And when the buses need repairing or they break down, just repair them from that point. Because I have issues with the garage. Now, I'm not too sure if anybody else suffers with those same issues. But anything to really avoid going there is something that I'm going to do. And that's just down to the issues which I experienced previously in previous saves. So you could say that I am trying to avoid all the previous mistakes. Just take it nice and slowly, step by step, and hopefully I don't run into any of the issues which I experienced before. Yeah, assistance. I'm contemplating buying this for the PC as well. But like I said, I just thought I'd give this another shot, for the PS5. See what I can make of it, to be honest. It's not a bad game. It does need a lot of work, but we will get there. But all in all, I'm just trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can, because I have a funny feeling that any sort of overbearing, overloading part of the game, as soon as you start messing around with things, as soon as you start changing things and flicking back and forth, that's when your problems occur. And it seems like we said before, the more established that you become in this game and the more things that you do in this game currently, the more bugs you experience. So if you just keep it simple and you do it one step at a time and you don't try and overload the game, I reckon that's going to have some significant effect on how this game actually plays out. There's no guarantee, but that's part of the test today. It's just to see if I do it in a sort of like a slower sort of fashion, and let the text load and everything like that. Just let the game do its thing. That's what I'm trying to say, in the hopes that I don't occur any other issues. But I mean, straight away I've got passengers loading in. So it's great. It is good. It is good. How's it going, Juan? Welcome to the stream, mate. I hope you're doing well. Back at it again with a little bit of tourist bus today. Just trying to let it do its thing, I don't think anybody's still there, so we'll give it a couple of seconds. Just a general rule of thumb, really. Just give it a couple of seconds. They don't usually take long. I've noticed that if you're driving one of the bigger buses, the coaches, rather than the smaller ones, there's less of an issue with the passengers. No update as of yet, Juan, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. Been a pretty chill day, if I'm honest. Just been relaxing. But like I say, I hope you're doing well. How's your day been anyway? I'm not rushing on this today, just taking it nice and steady. Oh, reading the chat. Nice and steady, he says. How's it going, Venom, mate? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Nice one, Juan. I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm glad to hear it. You know, it's surprising because like I say, I really enjoy playing this game. I really do like this game. And if there's anything that I can do to trial, it's basically trial and error, really. But just take it like one step at a time and just give it some breathing room. Try not to overload it too much. Because stability seems to be the key issue. All the problems seem to stem from that. So, like I say, as long as I don't overdo it, I should be okay. Should be able to progress without any sort of, really major significant issues. But like I say, welcome all. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to come here and watch this. I tried to get the tutorial done as quickly as I could. I know that nobody really wants to see the tutorial. I mean, I didn't even want to do it, to be honest. You know, I just wanted to get stuck in. But here we are, we're stuck in, so fingers crossed. But like we say, there's been no real communication at all in regards to information to do with updates, anything like that. You know, all we can really hope for is the fact that they are working on it, and that's really all we can do. You know, it is a good looking game. You know, it does run okay. Yeah, it's just all those little bugs, you know. But I mean, if you skip time in the calendar for making that extra bit of money, you know, just to fast forward it, I'd recommend not doing that at all. Only fast forward time when you really need to. So that's for things like appointments at the workshop, and obviously for your bus routes as well. I would recommend not fast traveling or anything like that unless you really have to. I don't know whether they actually got on or not. Oh, okay. Yep, they did. They just popped on. You know, I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of help in regards to it, because I'm fairly confident that we can actually enjoy this game as long as we only use these features when absolutely necessary. I've adjusted the vehicle density as well, because I believe that plays a massive factor to how the game runs. I've got mine currently set to 30, and that seems to be working a treat. It's absolutely fine. I feel anything over 50, you're going to be running into some issues. You may not experience them straight away, but later on down the line there will definitely be some complications. But, you know, not to be all negative and everything, it's really, really nice to be back playing it. You know, like I say, when this game works, it is a really, really nice game. It really is, you know. Visually, the buses, everything, you know, it all works nicely, runs smoothly. You know, the way the buses handle. You know, it's not going to be everybody's thing, don't get me wrong. You know, there are going to be a few nitpicky moments, you know, and there's bound to be, but you know, it's a busing game. You know, there aren't many like it really for this, being on its own island, you know, captivating that whole sort of holiday vibe. It'd be nice if there was. Just nice and slowly does it. But like I say, if there's any information, any news whatsoever regarding this game, I will try and cover it as best as I possibly can. How's it going, Maximus? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well, man. Thank you for joining. So yeah, as you can see, with the coaches, there doesn't seem to be any issue whatsoever with the passengers. They do disappear, and you know, fair enough, but at least they get on and off properly. I'm not a massive fan of the larger coaches and stuff, just because the roads are really narrow. You know, you really got to take your time with this sort of stuff. But that's what we're all about today. We're just chilling out. We're taking our time, and trying to progress a little bit without any issue. But we shall see. Can I gift you the game? Unfortunately, Maximus, it's for PlayStation, it's for the PS5, so there's no way that I could physically gift you the game, because it's a digital download. And thank you for the subscription. That's massively appreciated. But welcome all that's just joined. Just a little fill-in, really. I'm just testing to see whether by not overloading the game and taking baby steps, I can progress through this game without any issue, and so far it's worked. All of my GPS stuff has come up for the buses at the harbour. It never used to do that before. All the passengers are at the stops, and those two things were really, really bugging me, as I'm sure they were bugging a lot of people, you know. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that it continues to stay that way. Let's get down here. Whoa. That's what you get for reading the chat. I mean, there's nothing I can do for you, I'm afraid, Maximus, you know. It is on sale on the PlayStation Store right now, if that's something that, you know, would help. Yeah, Juan. So I'll be covering it as best as I can in this stream, actually. You know, just to try and make it. So the first initial worker that you get, first initial employee that the game makes you set up. Once you've set it up, just don't touch it. Just leave it. Even if you want to kind of switch the route for a more beneficial financially route, don't, just leave it, because I've got a sneaky suspicion that those things that we change at the beginning of the game, like I said before, have a bit of an impact as to what happens later on down the line. So for my sort of recommendation, that first initial employee that it makes you assign and you give a bus to, just leave it. Mistake I made before, I changed it, problems occurred. I haven't changed it since on this save, and that same problem is nowhere to be seen. So oh, nice one, Maximus. Well, you don't need anybody to gift it to you then, do you? If it's if you're playing it. Just give it a couple of seconds. So, like the pop-in one, that's something that's been in the game since day one, really. Like the rendering, everything like that. When the game first came out, actually, it was awful. For the PS5 especially, all the pavements, the sidewalks and stuff, they were all black. There was no texture to them, they were just black, and we had to deal with that for a little while. You know, but there is an awful lot of pop-in, but I just try not to focus on it too much, because you're going to get a little bit of pop-in here and there. But I mean, if you're planning on buying it for Steam, for your PC, then just I would recommend using a third-party site like CD Keys or something, because they sell Steam keys on there cheaper than what the Steam store does. So there's loads of alternative sites that you can use. But as you can see, so I'll show you now, the passengers are there, great, brilliant. But with the bigger coaches, bigger buses, they actually get on. They don't glide across the floor or slide across the floor. They actually get on, which is bizarre. Yeah, Juan, I mean, that is something that definitely needs to happen, a bit more immersion in regards to that. The only issue is that they've kind of overloaded the game in a way that it's not really necessary. Like, you know, the apartments that you can buy. Now, some people may like that. Personally, I don't. I think it's a complete waste of memory, storage, assets. They could have used that in other areas. You know, it's almost like they've tried to just stretch as much as they can out, as thinly as possible, so that when things do go wrong, they go wrong really badly. Oh, reading the chat. They'll have to get a new bin. Yeah, that's it. So it's $9.99 on CD keys. I don't know what's going on there. Am I like dragging something? Oh, I've got like a bin in the way. No way is that stuck. Is that like wedged in the front of my bus? Has it gone now? Yes, it's gone. But yeah, there's loads of alternatives that you can use. You know, and for anybody that's you know, like wanting to refund this game, especially with PlayStation, it's an absolute nightmare. Their refund policy is just a joke. You know, if you want to refund this game, then there's obvious reasons as to why somebody would. You know, I mean, it doesn't run very well. You know, and there are a lot of issues residing within the game. It's just perfectly understandable as to why somebody would want a refund. But according to Sony, they haven't received any other reports for this game in any way of it being broken, anything like that. So there's definitely a communication issue. Stupidly, a difference in sort of like, you know, where you would have. I would have assumed a stable sort of communication between the developer and Sony. But there doesn't seem to be anything there. Sony think that this game is working flawlessly by the sounds of it. But I can promise you this, if you've put any more than 2 hours into this game, they deem that as it's playing and running as intended. I have an email from them saying that there's been no other reports regarding the bugs which I've sent them and addressed. You know, none of that. But for those of you that are interested in a bit of bussing, I will be back later on with a bit more Fernbus sim. So if you're interested in that, you know, like and subscribe, turn that bell notification on, that way you don't miss it, you know. But I appreciate you all being here anyway. Let's get this bus out. So all these little points of interest, so, you know, like the homes, the restaurants, hotels, that kind of stuff, I'm not touching. You know, I'm not going around collecting all of that. and I won't even buy or hire any more employees either. I think 2 buses with 1 employee is definitely what I'm sticking to for the moment. How's it going, Mr. Bobba? Bobba Django? Sorry if I butchered your name. So, if you want my honest verdict, my honest opinion, even with the game being on sale right now, if you can accept that there are a few bugs and that there could be a possibility that you could lose your save data, then yeah, fine. If you're in it for the long haul and you have hope within the game, and you know you can appreciate the fact that it could or may or may not be fixed, then sure, buy it. It's a good game. It's a good game. I mean, I've lost my save data 3 times and I'm still playing it. You know, it takes a little while, but collectively, I mean, the problems aren't always apparent. It's 50-50. It's a mixed bag, you know. And like I was saying before, I think it's the actions that we take in the early stages of the game which really define what goes on later on. So overloading your game, putting too much in, too much AI, buying too many buses, too many employees, fast traveling too much, and switching everything around constantly and skipping time constantly, it's going to cause you issues. But if you take it nice and slow, step by step, bit by bit, you shouldn't have any issues. But anybody that's watching this stream, if you've got any questions about the game, fire away. You know, and I will try and answer them as honestly as I possibly can. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I can only give you my my sort of verdict off of the experience that I've had, you know, during the time of playing this game. Well, abandoning and patching it and updating it, it could potentially be a thing. You know, I mean, they didn't do a very good job with On the Road, and that's still a, you know, still a broken mess. So they don't have a great reputation for it, but I'm just hoping that they're learning from previous mistakes, you know. But all in all, that is a big gamble. You know, I mean, like, I know that times are hard these days, and, you know, spending like £16, £17 on a game, you're kind of and ahhing. You know, I get it, I do the same thing. You know, do I buy it? No matter how many reviews you watch, you still don't come to a decision. So it's one of those things where you've got to kind of like buy it to experience it, you know, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you're gonna have to battle with Sony for a refund, and trust me, that's not an easy process. The chances are, Juan, probably not. Probably not. To be honest with you, there's a lot of people that have sent TML emails. They've commented on Facebook pages, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, some of the some people have had responses, but they're so generic. It's almost like you're talking to a robot, and you probably are. That's the thing. I think they know what the issues are. They know what they need to do to fix it. I think it just comes down to the old, the manpower, the funding, everything. They've got so many projects on the go. They've bitten off more than they could chew, and eventually it'll either come to a point of a make or break, wouldn't it? They either do fix it or they don't. But for £16, I mean, you can't really go wrong. You'll get a few good hours out of it. I mean, what can 16 quid nowadays buy you? You know what I mean? Either way, if you've got a steering wheel and you want a game to kind of lose yourself in for a couple hours, mindless driving, because the driving element is really good. It is really good on this game. Feels really nice, in fact. Then go for it, Well, yeah, the idea of that, Juan, it is a nice idea. Definitely expanding their sort of like studio would be a good move. Getting maybe some new, relationships with other developing companies. It could definitely change the game completely. But I don't actually think that they're that way inclined. I think they like their money too much, and if they was to have to share it with people, I think it would, come crumbling down, I think. You hear about those sorts of things all the time. Confliction of interests, all that sort of stuff, Yeah, that's it. That's it, Bubba Jungo. But at the end of the day, that's just the gamble that you take. Do you know what I mean? That is just the gamble that you take. And more or less to the point, this is not the first game that they've made, and I'm sure it certainly won't be the last game that they've made, or are going to make, should I say. Yeah, this is what it all boils down to at the end of the day. Can you justify spending your money on a game which may or may not be fixed? Yeah, that's fair enough, poor House. I know, I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, they could do Constantine, but the problem is it's not so much like, are we going to get an update? It's the fact that when you get like your sort of generic gaming company, they tend to inform you on the progress that they're making, and you get some basis of a roadmap to know what's coming and how they're getting on with that sort of stuff. You know, you kind of get a general idea, but with this company, the communication is non-existent. In fact, from quite a few games which I've played of theirs, it always seems to be the same story. And you know, yes, okay, there probably will be patches that come out, but as to when and what are included in these updates is another story, because they don't give you any patch notes for it either. You know, you're just essentially left guessing, because they don't tell you anything. It's quite sad, really. But it's the way it is, unfortunately. Amazing. Okay. Oh yeah. So usually I would like use my phone right now to skip the time, but I'm preventing myself from doing that. I'm stopping myself from doing it. All time skipping should be done in the office. Okay, so now I have 2 orders of the same thing. It's a bit strange, isn't it? They're both different prices. Well, that's one deleted. Hopefully that doesn't mess everything up. You know, but it is a massive gamble. It is a massive gamble, and that's just the like I've said before. That's just, you know, the chance you really take. They're not very good at like giving you guarantees. Oh, I mean, what do you game on, Constantine? Is it Xbox, PC, PlayStation? Because there are a few simulation games for both consoles. I mean, if you strictly want to go down the route of, you know, simulation stuff, PC is definitely the way to go, just because there's more variety there. But there's a few games for both sides that are really, really nice. SnowRunner's a really nice one to play. And then obviously you got Gran Turismo and Assetto Corsa, all that kind of stuff. The Crew, Forza, you know, the list. There's a pretty hefty list. How's it going, Mr. Plow? No, unfortunately not. I'm just doing a little sort of test run just to see if I can kind of avoid any hiccups, if that makes any sense. Just play it safe for the moment. Oh. Yeah, so definitely, Paul House. I mean, from a console perspective anyway, yes, definitely. There seems to be a market here that people are slowly but surely taking hold of, you know. And yes, they could do a better job. But this is what I mean, you see. There's not a massive variety of games simulation wise for consoles. You know, that does need to change, but it's like if you want a trucking game, a logistical trucking game, TML unfortunately is the only way that you can actually go, because there are no other trucking games besides SnowRunner for consoles, you know. But I originally came from the console side of things. You know, I played on console before I did PC, so, you know, I stand by everything that I say when it comes to consoles. to be honest, you know, it's okay, it's nice being able to play these games on the PC. I don't really care about that. I'm more interested in getting a decent simulation game, decent trucking game, decent busing game on the consoles that works. Yeah, that's all I want. Yeah, truck driver I would avoid like the plague. I have seen better mobile games than truck driver. Bus Sim 18 was a great game. Yeah, simple, basic, did what it said on the tin. No problems there whatsoever for me. Yeah, it wasn't exactly the most visually pleasing game, but it worked, and that's all you got to do. Yeah, lawn mowing sim. Oh dear, if you suffer with OCD, that is not the game to buy. I tell you, not the game to buy. But it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. You know, you can get some enjoyment out of these games, you know. I never thought that cutting grass would be, you know, enjoyable until I played lawn mowing sim. Obviously, after a while, these games are perfect in small doses, you know. If you sit there and spend 12 hours on it and you complain that your eyes have gone funny, or, you know, you're fed up of seeing grass and you go to sleep dreaming of it, then that's your fault, you know. Oh. Yeah, it's a great game. It is a great game. Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you, poor House. Don't blame you, mate. Don't blame you. I would... If I had it on disc, it would have been turned into a Frisbee by now. Yeah, that game is... Yeah. Don't get me wrong, you know, it's not bad if you was to pay like £5 for it, but the price is, that's kind of where you got to kind of draw a line, really. It's all comes down to price, really. But for it to class itself as a trucking game, a logistical trucking game, is bizarre. Well, they still are. Sodesco still are stringing people along. You know, I think it was that Heading North DLC expansion. I think that was supposed to come out September last year, and they still haven't brought it out. Still to be announced. And you know, with all the bugs and stress and everything that everybody had to go through, you would have thought they would have at least given it to people for free, you know, just as a way of apologising. But no, you know, you've got to buy it, and those that have bought the digital edition get the DLC at a discounted price. How nice of them. Yeah, no thank you, they can keep it. Yeah. The problem is with you know, us console players, we're so passionate. We want to get these things. We want to have just a functioning game without having to deal with all the palaver. You know, we deserve something, you know, from all of this. I think when that Alaskan truck sim comes out, I think if it doesn't really hit the mark, I think there's going to be a bit of an uproar, to be honest with you. I would hate to be that company if they mess it up. Ooh, Red Dead 2, nice. Appreciate that information, Juan. That was a fantastic game, that was. 3 days it took me to complete that. 3 days. I barely slept. I lost all function of normal life to that game. Yep, that's the thing, Poor House. You know, they already know this, but for the people that have like stuck around for it, you know, the sort of like dedicated, like, you know, fanboys of that game, you know, the people that have already bought into it, because you buy into it with your money essentially, have moved on. But not everybody is fully aware of the life cycle that these games have. So they see it and they fall into that horrible trap that we all did right at the beginning. And you can advise people, you know, don't buy it, don't buy it. You know, would you recommend it? No, blah, blah, blah. Well, they don't listen, you know. So from my perspective, if I was to give a review on a game like this, and then in the next breath people complain because they don't like it, it's not my fault, you know. Is anybody else having issues with the audio? Okay. Okay. You guys will just have to let me know whether it does it again or not. Okay, no worries. Yeah, there is music in the game. Oh god. Okay, it might be just YouTube having a funny 5 minutes then. I'm not entirely sure whether there's in-game music, you know. Oh, I'll have a little look for you actually. I think there's like a radio or something. Audio. Music. Apparently it's all the way up, but it's not. So no, I don't think it is. I don't think there is. But then, if you wanted to, you know, you could put Spotify on or something, couldn't you? You know, there's probably better music choices of your own taste rather than listening to some. You know, I don't even know what music they would even use, whether it would be German or, you know, whatever. I can't remember even what island this is, but you know what I mean. You know, Bus Sim, I mean, for Bus Sim 21, they definitely, I think they definitely missed a mark there. I think that they could have definitely done a better job. Coming from Bus Sim 18, I was expecting a tad bit more. But I don't know, I think they just, they fell a bit short, if I'm honest. I mean, Bus Sim 18 is fun, especially because it's multiplayer. So, you know, you can have another person driving one of your buses, or you could have another person on your bus checking your tickets for you, which is a great element, a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The NPC, the passengers' conversation, the dialogue is extremely cheesy and obnoxious in those games, though. That would probably be my biggest complaint. I was like, no, I don't want to see a picture of your cat. Thank you, for the 50th time. But yeah, I'll also be jumping into a bit more of train sim as well. Currently got it downloading, so I'm going to give it a go, and just chuck a few hours at it in and see whether I can get anywhere with it. Juan, that's a very good question. Very good question, actually. There aren't currently any games which I'm really sort of like, you know, looking forward to. Gaming in general's just kind of got it's a bit bland at the moment, if I'm honest. Like, my library for PC and PS5 is filled with games, and I mean filled with games. But I log on to my PlayStation or my PC, I sit there, and I don't know what to play. I just stare at the screen for like an hour or two, just trying to figure out what I want to do, and I don't really seem to get anywhere. I mean, Alaskan Truck Sim, depending on how that goes, you know, I mean, I'm not really getting, I don't buy into hype anymore. You know, it's a nice concept. I played a little bit of the demo, you know, but other than that, I much prefer just to go back to the older titles. I get more enjoyment out of playing older games now. You know, back when things were simpler, you know, and when you bought a game, you bought the whole game, not you buy 25% and then be expected to pay for the rest, you know. X-Plane 12. I haven't seen anything of that, but I will have a look at, you know, have a look at it, see what it's about. Yeah, that's it, Paul Howes. You know, I mean, I've played it a little bit before. My biggest issue that I always seem to run into is I not only just like trying to retain the information for what button does what on the bus and stopping distances and stuff, but it's the emergency brakes. You know, on some buses, once you activate them and stick them on, that's it. You know, it's there's no real tutorial or guide on how to reset the train or anything like that. Oh, I'll definitely look at it, Juan. Yeah, I'll have a look. I mean, I quite like the indie titles, if I'm honest. You know, like the Power Wash Sim and Gas Station Simulator as well. That's something else I want to have a look at. Give it a go. Oh, better. Good job I stopped to fill up. But I appreciate you all coming in anyway. You know, I appreciate you taking time out of your evenings to spend it here. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean, Boba. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like those games are fulfilling enough. Bit more of an objective to it. Now, if it was like a logistical train simulator, you know, like where you have to make deliveries or transport goods across maps and stuff like that, I'd be down for that. Absolutely down for that. I mean, you imagine like being able to drive like a freight train, you know, and you've got like timesheets and stamps and things, and you've got to do maintenance to your, you know, to secure your load and all that kind of stuff. Clock in and clock out, all that cool stuff, you know. There is a food sim coming out soon. Actually, I think it's called Food Truck Simulator. I think you can actually sign up now to be one of the testers for it. You know, but that don't look half bad either. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's that. Funny you mention that, Poor House, because that's something which really kind of put me off the game a little bit. Was how many routes that you can purchase and how quickly they were chucking them out. You know, like sometimes they were getting onto the prices of where you could literally just jump on the train in real life, buy an actual ticket, and do those routes. You know. Experience them for what they are. Oh yeah, I've seen it all, Mr. Plow. I mean, there's a referee. Apparently, there's a referee simulator coming out as well. No idea, man. TV license, man. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing. You know, the Portaloo cleaning sim 2022. Can't you imagine? Ugh. I mean, there's no reason why there can't be a simulator for everything. It's just, you know, I mean, there's only so far you can really go with a simulation game. I mean, I play a lot of Hunter Call of the Wild in my spare time because I just enjoy just the peacefulness of it all, really, the calm. But they are bringing out a new fishing game soon as well. If you're into your fishing sims and that. I think it's called Call of the Angler, I'm pretty sure. A Pope simulator. Wow. I mean, where do they even get the funding to make these things? So it's called Call of the Angler, Poorhouse. You know, made by Avalanche Studios. Flip-flop simulator, eh, Venom? Metro Simulator 2. Yeah, that honestly, if you've never played the Hunter Call of the Wild, that game is visually, it's stunning. Like, it is so stunning, and they do a really good job with hunting simulation, and the things which I've seen for Call of the Angler, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, they do have a new one coming out called Way of the Hunter as well, which is a new hunting simulator, or supposed to be anyway. I'm fairly confident that that game will come out on all consoles. Yeah, I don't think that they specified that it's just for new gen. I think they're bringing it out for all platforms, which is quite nice, I think. But yeah, I'll have to take a look at Metro Sim 2 as well. I mean, the list just continues, doesn't it, really? But yeah, we will be back a little bit later on with a bit more Fernbus, I think, because I quite enjoyed that last night. Yeah, it is a shame that it hasn't received the next gen update. But either way, it still runs really nice. It still looks really nice. You know, it runs really good to the point of where you could say, you could tell somebody that is the PS5 upgrade, and you know they wouldn't be able to kind of fault it. They would believe it. It looks that good. That's a very hard question, Constantine, because they both offer two different sort of styles of busing, don't they, essentially? This one's almost like a holiday vibe, you know, island, and like I say, it does a very good job of that. So I don't know. I mean, they're pretty close, but I have to say I do prefer Fernbus, just simply down to the fact that it's in a little bit more of a stable state. Graphically, though, both of these games are really nice. Really nice. I mean, there's definitely a little bit more to do, I would say, in this one. You know, because obviously here you've got pre-made routes, whereas Fernbus, you kind of just make them up as you go along, don't you? So, I don't know, they're both really good games at the end of the day. It's kind of hard to make a judgment call on that. But if you are continually, you know, you're planning on continuing playing Tourist Bus, just make sure that after every route that you do, after every action that you make, you just save it. Because there could be a day where you come on and you have that, you know, you're presented with that error code. Yeah, I would advise not buying any of their simulators, their police simulators. Is it like Autobahn, Police Simulator 3, wherever it is? I was interested in those actually. Like, I just wanted to, like, I thought, oh yeah, a police simulator, you know, that'd be pretty cool. And then it turns out that, you know, it doesn't have wheel support, which was no surprise. Yeah, it is possible. You make sure you back them up as well. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I had was it wouldn't let me actually save my progress. So I was just stuck at a point in the game where I could continue driving, I could continue doing routes and stuff. It just wouldn't save, so it was basically progress lost. But I was at quite a comfortable position in the game anyway, so I wouldn't really care about that, to be honest. And then other problems occurred and I just couldn't do anything. Passengers weren't showing. The bus thought I was on a route when I wasn't. The only way to end that was by completing the route, but that meant there was no passengers at the stops or anything like that. It was just a bit of a mess. Yeah, definitely, Constantine. Yeah, they do lack a bit. But, you know, you got to give them credit where credit is due. You know, these things aren't gaming. You know, it's not easy to develop, is it? You know, and they must have done fairly well to make a third game. You know. But we're coming up to a final stop now anyway. So far so good. No real major problems. Everything seems to be working as it should. Also, as well, for these simulation games that are coming out, I wish they would take advantage of this. The H shifter. There are so many games which don't incorporate, especially the shifting in the clutch. You know, they're not interested in using them, which is a damn shame, to be honest. You know, what I've found with the majority of the games which come out to console, claiming to be sim games, either don't have wheel support, or they do have wheel support, but there's no in-game function or accessibility to be able to change settings, you know, to use your shifter, to use your clutch. You know, and that's it's not actually very sim friendly when you think about it. No, Constantine, there's no shifter support at all. No, I don't have track IR, but I will be investing in that. Just simply down for, you know, because like you said, panning the camera with a controller it's not fun, no. But you know, like I say, this channel I plan to grow it to a point of where I can cover quite a few simulation games. You know, build a little community. Multiplayer series as well is definitely something I want to do. But yeah, just to make it a little bit more, you know, immersive for you guys, really. Because yeah, turning left and right is not it's not fun. See, what is that guy doing? You're past the point of no return, mate. You commit to that. You don't stop. Yeah, they say it's supported, but hopefully, I mean, I'm not too sure as to how accessible it is, or as to whether it works properly. But I'll pick up something decent anyway. I've always wanted to buy something like that, so especially now that I'm getting more and more into my simulation games. Awesome. No passengers have been left at a stop. Amazing stuff. Oh, got a nice little rooftop view here. Oh, there's that horrible sun glare. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. You know, it's been nice getting back into the game. It's been nice experiencing it. It's not a bad game, don't get me wrong. You know, it's a shame that those little issues prevented me from really doing so without, you know, starting a new game save. But like I say, guys, I hope you enjoyed this stream. If you did, leave us a cheeky like, subscribe, turn that bell notification on. You know, all that good stuff. And like I say, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions regarding this game if you have any. But until next time, guys, like I say, take it easy, stay safe, and I shall catch you all in the next one.